during normal patrol, so we like know to look out for him. You know what I mean? So, and we just did it off. Anyways, Robin, we have heard some of the details of what happened today. In the interest of understanding the circumstances, for investigative reasons and whatnot, from a neutral standpoint, we'd love to hear from you what occurred to the best of your ability. Note that we may ask you to do some of this on recording for the sake of, you know, have it on record for when we look into allegations of corruption or wrongdoings or this, that, and the third. So,
yeah, not a problem. Okay, so there was a closed-door pretrial hearing for the ADMC versus Lucas Miller and LSPD case today. We arrive, and Opal starts with a motion for mistrial and to dismiss with prejudice, because they believe Paul had been intimidated, pressured, coerced, you know, all of the synonyms, by the ADMC. Opal gives a spiel, and then they're like, well, that's all very well and good, but we want to hear it from Paul. So Paul tells a story of how ADMC invite Paul to go on a boat. They speak about Paul. They, you know, get to, you know, tell Chicago. You know, I mean, I'm sure you probably know. I mean, a lot of people who engage with the law and court cases would know Paul is in debt to Redwood Cigarettes. I didn't know why, but I knew he was. But today I found out he bet on the Pacers in the NBA Finals, which was a choice. So he was in debt to Redwoods. But yeah, so on this boat ride, they spoke with Paul. The debt to Redwood came up because Paul, I think he like gives out cigarettes in the hopes that people will then get addicted to Redwoods and therefore buy more Redwoods, and that will help absolve his debt. I think that's his tactic. Then, you know, the boat trip ends. They take Paul back to Senior Buns. During this, Shang mentions something about protection, as in like protection from if Redwood come for him while they're on the boat. Which, you know, is to be expected. Oh dear. So then Paul gets dropped off, and then he's hanging around Senior Buns. I think he speaks with Junior Huntley. He speaks with a few other people. Someone mistook him for a mayoral candidate or whatever. And then at some point, at least 10, 15 minutes later at least, Paul gets kidnapped by people in a Redwood SUV with Redwood branded clothing. They take him to the jetty near the
the
gas station that goes on to Great Ocean.
Yeah.
They.
Oh shit, we are closest.
Wait, what happened? Sorry, just hang tight. Wait, what's going on?
We're the closest to that 13.
Where is it?
Oh, that's
And it's a dispatcher.
A from the one on 68.
Channel 3. I'm listening. It seems like they've got it under control for now.
I'm almost at that.
Give it just 1 second, because I do want Jessica to hear this as well.
Jessica looks like is already up in route. Yeah, she's over there. Get in her car right now. You may tell her come back.
Yeah.
236 on frequency. What's the updates?
We got Raiders MC involved. Scene 2. One officer, one dispatch shot on Route 68. They were chasing a motorcycle. I believe.
Actually, no. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
RO Darcy Lane, though I can't confirm that.
We've got a bike.
So go ahead, I guess.
Yeah. I just realized that we can record this afterwards if this cooks into something.
Yeah.
Also on the boat trip, they bring up the case, which, you know, is to be expected. Now, just to preface, we don't want Paul off the case. He helped us. I believe the kids call it throwing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you know, as soon as Barrett was done with getting Maxwell and Opal off as defendants, Paul then goes to re-add them as defendants, basically. He was You know, what's that adage? Never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake. That's the sort of thing we were going for. So yeah, that gets brought up on the boat trip. They drop him off at Senior Buns. He chats with a few people. Then he gets kidnapped by these robot people, taken to the jetty. They press a knife to his neck and put a wrench on his third nipple. Then they ask him, they're like, if you lie in your answers, then like we'll twist the wrench or something. Not sure how the threats were made, but I guess they're implied with the knife to the neck and wrench on the nipple. So they first ask him his name. He gets it correct, so nothing happens there. The Redwood people then ask Paul about the supposed superiors that Miller was taking orders from when he destroyed the memorials. Paul was like, well, I was just trying to make a defense for my client. I don't actually know if that's true or not. I think that's what he said. That part, like Paul's responses, I'm not entirely sure on.
ADMC fucked up.
Then they ask him about how deep
That's
can
what
an
I
eagle
was
dive below
confused
water
about.
to get its prey, and he says, I don't know, 100 feet. And they're like, well, we don't know either, so we're not going to do it. They then tell him that his debt is now 1.3 million as they throw him off the jetty. You know, I've been around long enough, involved with organized crime, defending them. That seems like someone sent their goons after Paul. So Paul says all that in the pre-trial, and then some questions are asked of Paul, like when did this happen? Why is it only being brought up now? Judge Devereux asked Paul if he had told the police about this and if he had told his client about this. He said yes. Now this is something that you guys might want to look at. So initially they provided us with two interrogations, one of Paul and one of Junior. The people conducting these interviews, but I will call them interrogations because they were in the interrogation rooms and they were read their rights beforehand. The people conducting these interrogations were Captain Haley Maxwell and Officer Lex Stryker.
Bro, this is
Both of them are witnesses
so
corrupt. On the case.
It's so corrupt.
They are both members of the LSPD.
Where does Junior come from?
Apparently he was a witness to Paul getting kidnapped. That's about it. So yeah, I brought up how I felt it was kind of gross that witnesses in a case are the ones interrogating. Like, I was like, was there no BCSO or SASM on duty at the time? And Ruby tried to make some hand-wavy excuse of, well, we don't have everyone that's capable around all the time. And I said, so you're telling me that Maxwell and Stryker were the only ones on duty?
Dude, that's actually so corrupt. What the fuck?
Yeah, so then some
Bro,
questions
I don't even
asked,
know, like,
about just clarifying some things with Paul. Then
so ADMC
Arcadia
fucked up, but
says,
that's
I would
also
love to
fucked
speak
as
to
well.
the ADMC, and I immediately interject because one, I can understand the suspicion that the ADMC may be involved, given the short span of time between the boat trip and the kidnapping. But at that point, to me, this was then a criminal investigation. Because, you know, we're alleging that apparently these Redwood people were the ADMC. So at least kidnapping, extortion, maybe bribery, apparently. So that's why I said, no, my clients won't be answering questions. Because I am not going to make them implicate themselves in or even be in the room to try and implicate themselves in a crime, if that's even the case of what's going to happen. So I just say, no, they won't be answering questions. But then apparently Arcadia took that to mean, well, since they're saying nothing, all we have to go off is what Paul said, and we're taking that as gospel. And my point was, if the police do not even have enough to press charges, how can we throw out an entire case? Bear in mind, I had no idea what this pretrial was going to be about.
Yeah. Blunt, you had a question earlier about the ruling. Feel free to ask Robin this, because I don't know the answer to that either, but I think this is a worthy time to ask that question.
Are you aware of any recognized concept of a
Mistrial with prejudice?
with prejudice?
I am not, no.
Okay.
I recognize that our legislation says that things dismissed or adjourned with prejudice are not able to be appealed. But a mistrial with prejudice, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, that's not a legal concept I've ever been familiar with in any jurisdiction.
It's either a mistrial or it's not.
Right.
I will say,
if there was a dismissal
Judge...
and then a mistrial, that potentially even after that, though, a dismissal could potentially be overturned then because of the mistrial.
Yes, I spoke to Judge Archibald McRae on the phone earlier, and he said, what are you wanting, or remedy are you seeking? I said, there is no remedy because you dismissed it with prejudice. And then he said, well, what can I do to sort of help you with that? And I said, retire. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Jesus. There's a second part that I want to go to, but I want to make sure we fully kind of understand the grasp here. Do you have intentions to pursue further legal actions on behest of the ADMC? And I'm asking, actually, you know what? I probably shouldn't ask that question. I'm not going to ask that question.
I'll say any decision about this I am not going to make tonight, as I am livid.
Okay. So I'll put this forward is, we are speaking to parties, as such that we are aware. I don't want to sort of weigh too heavily on any opinions and this kind of goes for the rest of my marshals as well, primarily because if there is something that needs to be looked at, I want to ensure we're going in there with a unbiased lens, only affected by the evidence and the statements that are made to us.
I do want to, well, maybe it is an elephant in the room, maybe it's not. People are and will be upset with this. Perhaps maybe not as upset as they were when the memorials were destroyed in the first place. But I would hope that at least the SASM would not see, God forbid, one of the three judges show up in the hospital and assume ADMC.
We're not going to do that. We obviously, I don't like the word assume, right? Because we have to assume. It's actually part of our job, right? But I know what your inference is that we don't lock in on a singular target, but rather we, weigh the evidence and whatnot.
Which is the entire thing that started all this. The PD getting annoyed at the ADMC and hyper-focusing them.
Yeah. Are you planning on retiring anytime soon there, Robin?
I don't know. Is Norman Burns still around?
Nope. Because this night could use a Robin. You know what I mean?
I prosecuted the first case for the marshals.
Well, what about the last one?
would depend on who it was against. I have a pretty strict code of I made my life as a defense attorney to then, at the end of it, go against the ilk of people which popped up my life would feel wrong.
Okay.
If we're talking corrupt officials, that's a different story, but to prosecute, to put them in a class criminals, unfortunately not.
Well, you know, everyone's got their forte. I'm putting that envelope out if you ever want to discuss.
Appreciate that.
Yep. All
I'll
right.
say the myself and the ADMC, our faith in the marshals isn't the best. Because the last time we had meaningful interaction with them was the death of Mason Dixon.
Oh, Mason can die in a fucking sewer, quite frankly.
Well, he did, and Shang got manslaughter.
Yeah.
And we were then told that the marshals would look into, how the
we're
PD
very-
fucked this up so bad, and then they just.
We're a very,
wake up
very
again.
different department. I hold the badge with honor, and someone who dies with disgrace should not be buried alongside those that have. It's pissing on the grave. So I'm very aware of that case, and I can see the frustration, but we don't roll like
I'm not
that.
trying to tar you all with the same brush, but
Yeah.
Uh,
Which, by the way, we still have a body to exhume up in Blaine County later. That's a whole nother matter.
any more questions about
No.
about this?
Nope. That should suffice. We may call you in at a later point.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I am just sort of still processing how an argument that wasn't even made by the defense is what got this entire case thrown out.
Absolutely. All right. Well, all right.
Hey, I mean, this is how it is, then I guess make sure no one offers you protection on a case you're prosecuting, otherwise it'll get thrown out because you've been bribed.
Mm.
So careful with that one.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Robin, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Boss.
If anything else comes up, please do let me know.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, lady.
Yep.
Take care.
Thank you. Be safe.
Y'all know about Mason Dixie?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, I do.
He while he was law enforcement.
Sounds like you hate him or her.
I absolutely loathe the actions that were taken. He went off duty while still law enforcement, actively wrote a book about how he's going to hunt down people and committed vigilantism by trying to murder one of the members of ADMC. They caught him and then shot him, and then he died while down in the sewers, and then we decided to bury him as a cop, which this is my worldview, is that the moment you start doing that shit, like going out and murdering people, you're not a cop. And I don't want to see people like that buried next to other cops, because those are people that put their life on the line on duty. This is someone that went full, crim doing so, which I don't really fuck with, quite frankly. So